Becoming CarmaQuanTarot, Episode 9. Welcome to Becoming CarmaQuanTarot. My journey didn't start the way you might think. It started with a search for protection instead of fear. Today I work to bring you messages guided by light, love, and the highest good. Not what we want to hear, but what we need to know. I'm your host, and I finally realized I wasn't being followed, I was being supported. My mom passed away when I was 6 months pregnant. A couple of months later, when I was about 9 months pregnant, I was still shattered by grief and trying to survive it. For a month, things had been happening. The smoke detectors kept going off randomly. We had changed the batteries all over the house. Still, random smoke detectors would go off. And it just kept happening. And I had a feeling it was Mom, but, we're always a little hesitant to believe when it's signs for us. So then her car alarm, she had given me a car, and the alarm would randomly go off day and night while it was just sitting there. It would just randomly start going off. All of this was happening, and I still didn't have what I needed. So 9 months pregnant, sitting in the bathtub, bawling my eyes out, talking to my mom, who had passed a couple of months before, obviously. It's like, you haven't sent me the definite sign that you're okay. You promised you would. Yes, these things are happening, but I need something that I cannot blow off as dead batteries. Like, just give me something. And about that time, the candle on the back of the toilet started shaking. I mean, rocking, shaking. I saw it moving. I panicked. I pulled the towel bar off the wall trying to get out of the bathtub. I was halfway down the stairs naked, dripping wet, when I stopped dead in my tracks, because I knew it was my mom answering me. And I yelled, "And you didn't have to scare the shit out of me, did you?" Clearly she did, but so it was probably about a month later. I was picking up photos I had dropped off at the CVS. So I opened them in the car, and I was looking at them, and it ended up being the last day, like, my mom got dressed and wanted to go out to eat. By the time we got to the restaurant, she was so tired. She fell asleep. She couldn't stay awake. She couldn't eat. And it was one of the last days she was, like, coherent and able to talk, or able to understand, like, what was going on. So I completely lost it, sitting there pregnant, crying so hard. People could see me. They'd come over and ask if I was okay. I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." I was so embarrassed. So I just could not get myself together. So I called work. I was like, taking the rest of the day off to get myself together. I got home. I laid in bed, and I was bawling my eyes out, and, like, the biggest storm happened outside. Like, the storm just rolled in, and it was raining so hard, and it was just so comforting and fitting because it was going right along with my tears. And as I finally, like, took a brief cat nap, relaxed, and fell asleep for a few minutes, and I woke up and I looked up, and the sun was out at the same time. There was no rain in the forecast. They called it a surprise pop-up shower out of nowhere. I believe that storm happened because the world was crying with me, and she was crying with me. So I 100% believe that. There was no other explanation for that pop-up shower. But then there were the feathers. So my son was about to, he came to me. I had asked Mom for a feather, and he came to me, and he was covered in lotion. I was like, show me where you got this. What are you doing? He led me into the spare bedroom where he had been drawing on the mirror with the lotion. I had just cleaned that room the day before, inside now, underneath the beds, underneath the dressers, everything. But I go to pick up the lotion, and there was a black feather. I have no idea how the feather got there, because I swear I had cleaned that room top to bottom the day before. So I asked next time if she would maybe not have my son have to create a mess to show me the feather, but it worked. And there was a Father's Day, and my ex had been a jerk, but I still went ahead with the plans of the fish fry for him. And don't cook fish in the house, so I had the fryer outside and was trying to fry the fish out there. The outlet would not work. So I was come to the outlet like right inside the house, would not work. I could not get an outlet in the house to heat that up to save my life. It just wouldn't do it. Finally, I found one running an extension cord all the way through the house to get this fryer to work. It made absolutely no sense. Everything else I plugged in the outlet would work, but this fryer would not. So I was like, Mom, if you're messing with the electric, can you please leave it alone so I can get this done? I can't back out of it now. And so finally, with the extension cord running through the house, I did get the fish fried and everything done. We were done eating, and I got ready to make the margaritas. I put the ice and stuff in the blender, and it just turned it on, and it just popped and just blew the side of the blender out. If that wasn't a definite sign she wasn't happy about it, I don't know what was. But she did leave the electric alone after that. But I needed a new blender. I knew it was her. There was no doubt in my mind she was not happy about me going through with the plans, because they did not deserve it. And all the signs came loud and clear. I was like, I get it, but stop it already. I knew she didn't approve. And so later, this is probably not too long ago, a couple years ago now, my cousin asked me what she should do, because I was always talking about getting signs from my mom, and she wanted to know what she could do or what sign she should ask for, or what I would do. So I told her, I was like, you have chickens, right? Yes. Even with chickens and feathers in your yard, ask her for a feather. You'll get a feather. There'll be no denying this feather is going to get your attention, and you'll know that it's from my mom. She didn't really believe me, but said she'd try it. She called me not like 3 days later and said she had swept her driveways, sidewalks, everything was clean, then walked to the ice cream stand, and on the way back, there was a feather on the sidewalk. She tried to kick it away, it wouldn't move, and she tried to kick it away again, it wouldn't move. So finally, she bent down to pick it up, and she remembered what I said and what she'd asked for. She said, I have to admit, the feather got my attention, and it did hit me as soon as I went to throw the feather to the side that Aunt Connie got my attention. I said, yes, she sure did. So it does work. And they're always there with us. If we ask for it, we will get it. We just have to pay attention. Sometimes they're trying to get our attention and we don't know that's what it is. But if you put a little thought into it, sometimes you might be able to figure it out. Before anything major would happen, still to this day, my mom will always have a rabbit, bring a rabbit. And I know it's my mom bringing the rabbit to me because it'll come like into my garage and sit where I'm sitting and just looking at me and just sit there. It'll come up to the window at the door and see me inside in the kitchen and just sit by the sliding glass door. This happens every time before a family member has died, before like I've lost my job, they closed the company, whatever it was. I always saw a rabbit. I knew something was going to happen, but I knew I wasn't alone and that it would be okay eventually. But she was there with me. So I was completely thrown when my cousin passed and I did not get a sign. I did not see a rabbit. So I was like, Mom, how did this happen that I got no sign? Like I would have called her, like I would have gotten a hold of her. You didn't let me know that it was her time. And I thought about it a little bit harder. I was like, you did give me a sign, but she sent my Aunt Peg to give me the sign, and my Aunt Peg used a cat. Wasn't a rabbit. But I definitely remembered that like 2 days before that, sitting in the garage, this cat came up and just sat there and looked at me while I was in the garage. And I'm like, I did get a sign. I was just looking for a rabbit. I didn't know the cat would be a sign. I did have a medium friend, just to confirm, ask them to see who was around me, and she drew a picture. It looked just like my Aunt Peg. So even I have to question and make sure that what I believe is true sometimes in the signs that I get. Nice having friends that can do that for you, which is one reason why I did create the inner circle. So if any of this resonates with you and you want a grounded space for readings and clarity, I do have a meeting the first Thursday of every month where I will do the readings for you and get the confirmations you're looking for. So look for that if you're interested. And I'm no longer reacting to what I lived through. I'm listening to what I'm being guided towards. Thank you for joining me on this journey of becoming CarmaQuanTarot. We'll continue the story next time. And remember, words are spells, energy is sacred, and intention is the magic.